There's beautiful gear and there's really ugly gear. Of course, beauty and ugly are in the eye of the beholder, right? I mean, well, first of all, I think what's beautiful to an audiophile, an amplifier with tubes sticking out of it and stuff, might be kind of ugly or off-putting to a non-audiophile. I get that. And again, from my experience of selling audio and seeing how thousands of people interacted with audio and what they thought was attractive and what they thought was unacceptable to live with at home, it's a wide thing. Now, I used to think that speakers that had, really beautiful wood or really excellent curves, that they would be beautiful in anyone's eyes, but not really. Again, from when I sold audio, a couple would come in and the guy would say, "Oh man, those are gorgeous. Oh, I love those Sonus Fabers. They're so beautiful. Italian craftsmanship. Look at that wood. Look at the joinery. It's just stunning." But his wife would say, "That's a big, ugly box." So, again, who's to argue with? That's why I started with the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So finding audio that sort of coexists in your domestic space that's acceptable to everyone is tricky. Really, really tricky for some people. I mean, it's just a hard course to navigate sometimes, Now, I've lived with some pretty and owned some pretty unattractive gear that I have to admit that over the time I owned it, even if it sounded good and I thought it was well made, I did find just looking at it and living with it, it wasn't, it did have an effect on me, I have to admit. I had a VPI Classic turntable for years and years and years. And I think it's a great turntable, an amazingly well-made turntable for the price that it was when it started, which was $2,500. And it worked extremely well. It was extremely well made. Everything about it was fantastic. But I did feel that the look of it was just kind of clunky and it did clash with my aesthetic taste. And for all the years that I owned it, I never softened on that. I never said, it's kind of growing on me. It never grew on me. Never, ever, ever. Which is kind of remarkable in a way, because I would have expected it would have, but no, from day one till however many years later, it was at least 5 or 6 or 7 years that I had that turntable. And I never actually got to like the way it looked. Everything else about it, good stuff, definitely. And at the price, an incredible deal. I mean, the price crept up, inflation, all sorts of things, and they made them better as the years went by. And I was tempted at some point to upgrade to a later version of the Classic, of the VPI Classic, but I never did because it looked a little better in some ways, but no, it was still a very unattractive turntable to me. So even I, the audiophiliac, are swayed by the way things look and feel. When I had a Conrad Johnson Premier 10 preamp, again, not beautiful, not ugly per se, but just kind of dowdy, I'd put it that way. And the feel of the knobs was always a turnoff. They were very stiff, and it didn't have a remote control. And every time I changed the volume, it had a step to 10, you would go clunk, 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 and the input selector was really stiff. Again, I never got used to it. I never softened on that. I never said, I liked it. No, it always kind of bugged me. So I understand why people, even if it's great and it's well made and it's a terrific company, just don't want to go there. Now, to give a more positive example with stuff that doesn't really appeal to me, but I definitely understand why people love it, is McIntosh. McIntosh amps, made in Binghamton, New York, beautifully made. The company really stands behind their products. But I think that it's just too, for lack of a better word, old looking. I mean, it's a timeless aesthetic. I'll give it that. It just seems too stuck, something, But I do get that one. That one, I think, the blue meters and the glass and all that. it's good, and maybe I'm being too hard, and I get it. And if I lived with one, I think I would grow. At that one, I think I would grow to appreciate more over time than my brief experiences of having them in for review. I think I've said my piece, and I want to hear what you guys think about Beauty and let's just say ugly, Beauty and the Beast, and living with it, or whether you would buy something you found unattractive, or have bought things that you thought were unattractive and mellowed on them, or just were like me, never really warmed up to them. Or you buy things because, in addition to the way they sound, the way they're made, because they are beautiful, because you want to live with something that's really just a stunning piece of industrial design. Goes both ways, right? I think we're done. My name's Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. It does come up daily, and I would urge you strongly to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss an exciting episode of the Audiophiliac Daily Show. And if you like them and you keep coming back for more, I would appreciate it if you took a look at my Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/audiophiliac. And I will thank you in advance for checking that out. See you next time. Bye-bye.